But here's the video. Let's play the video out and we'll speak over the video, Abhishek.
Yes,
and this is why we must debate it. In fact, we decided to come back to this debate after more and more videos emerged of the cash seizures. It appears that this time around, Abhishek, it's close to the mark of 21 crore. It was 21 crore the last time around. We are hearing that 20 crore almost it could be, and much more, including 3 kilograms of gold. I wonder where they hit that and how the ED hit upon that.
And who's scared of arrest? In fact, Niranjan, interestingly, this hoard of cash comes on a day when the Supreme Court, in a judgment, has cleared ED of all the charges that were being made against it by people who are under a scanner of the agency. In fact, the court has said that the powers of arrest, the powers of search and seizure that are there with the Enforcement Directorate are absolutely legit, and that there are stringent safeguards within which ED functions, and that the power of arrest does not suffer from the vice of arbitrariness. In fact, if you look at the record of the Enforcement Directorate, viewers, Niranjan, you know, of all the money that was swindled by the likes of Vijay Mallya and Nirav Modi, 18,000 crores worth of property and cash seized, and about 10,000 crore rupees given back to the exchequer, Niranjan.
Yeah, absolutely.
Back to the people, back to the taxpayer. So in that sense, ED is effective, and that's why perhaps some people who are under the scanner wanted its powers of search and seizure, which has led to this stash coming out, and earlier similar figure of about 21 crores from another house belonging to Arpita Mukherjee, supposedly as part of patronage of Minister Partha Chatterjee. Niranjan, obviously it's just a beginning.
And here's why the ED which is at the heart of action, ED which is the whipping boy of the opposition, here's why many people are afraid of the ED, and here's how they won in Supreme Court today. The opposition's perpetual war cry has been to accuse the Enforcement Directorate.
जो आज जो हालत है, ऐसा लग रहा जो एजेंसी को बीजेपी चला रहा है।
ये मोदी जी और जी की साजिश है कि पूरे अपोजिशन को खत्म करना और उसको हमको हमारी आवाज बंद करना, ये उनका तरीका है और वो तरीका अपना रहे हैं।
हर मंत्री के ऊपर सीबीआई की, इनकम टैक्स की, ईडी की इन्वेस्टिगेशन खोली जाएंगी। कोशिश की जाएगी कि इनको किसी न किसी तरीके से रोका जाए।
But the massive cash seizures speak for themselves. Over 15 crore in cash and 3 kgs of gold bars. And it's not the first, it's the second in a week. As the ED investigation continues into the Bengal cash scam, the teacher recruitment scam, sensational developments in the last couple of hours with the ED team raiding Arpita's flats. One of them, a luxurious flat which she had kept aside only for her pets, her dogs. And while one of her flats were being raided, came the recovery of wards and mountains of cash, kgs of gold, and as of this minute, we are hearing that it could be well over 20 crore once again. So 21 to 22 crore in the last raid, 20 crore now, and the numbers could increase overnight, which would take it well above the 40 crore mark in cash. Arpita is in aid of West Bengal Minister Partha Chatterjee. Both of them are in custody, but this is extremely embarrassing for the Trinamool Congress. Can they distance themselves from either Partha or Arpita once again? That's the question. These developments come at a time when 242 petitions challenging the powers of the ED were placed before the Supreme Court. And a bench led by Justice A.M. Kanvilkar delivered a crucial verdict empowering the ED.
The Supreme Court has held they can carry out investigations under the PMLA even without an FIR in the predicate offence. The Supreme Court has said that it conclusively established the offence of money laundering under the PMLA Act is a standalone offence and does not have to be read with different offences and sections under different laws. The Apex Court has also held the officers of the Enforcement Directorate are different. They are not police officials under the CRPC. Hence, statements that are recorded by them are admissible as evidence in the court of law. Finally, they've also said the strict bail conditions will continue to hound the corrupt and make the administration of justice more significant.
The BJP is calling for all sides to respect the court.
Supreme Court has said very clearly that they have that jurisdiction and PMLA is within the ambit of the legal ambit in which it is working. It has been upheld by Supreme Court and we should respect the Constitution, we should respect the law and we should respect the law of the land.
But will the opposition admit there is merit in the ED probe into the cash scam? Let's debate.
Welcome friends, and even as we cut to the pictures coming in of the hoards of cash from another property, residential property of Arpita Mukherjee, close aide of Minister Partha Chatterjee in the Bengal government. Let me introduce the guests who are joining us for this debate. Sanju Verma, national spokesperson of the BJP, joining live from Mumbai. Desh Ratan Nigam, advocate, Supreme Court, live from Delhi. Prakash M. Swamy, senior journalist, live from Chennai for the ED and the government. Ravi Srivastav, political analyst, live from Mumbai. Anirban Banerjee, political analyst, live from Kolkata. Ashutosh Mishra, senior journalist, live from Delhi, would try to defend the petitioners who wanted the ED restrained and constrained. But let me first go to our executive editor, legal affairs and governance, Ridham Anand Bharadwaj. Ridham, the court making it absolutely clear that the power of arrest does not suffer from the vice of arbitrariness. In fact, it's a very important tool in the hands of the ED, and in fact, ED is not obliged even to share the ECIR. Please tell us the importance of this verdict before we start the debate.
Absolutely. A very good evening to all of the panelists who continue to be with us, our viewers, because today is a big day. In a landmark judgment, the top court of the country has upheld the powers of the Enforcement Directorate. If we stay with the pictures that are coming in, the hoards of cash and the scam that's exploding, we clearly see why and what's the reason that the Supreme Court has continued to say that powers of arrest, attachment of properties, search and seizure will continue to be with the Enforcement Directorate. We call this a landmark judgment because the Supreme Court says these powers are necessary even though multiple petitioners, Congress leaders, other opposition party leaders have tried to say the powers of the ED need to be curtailed. But the pictures speak their own story, and they've also said that they uphold the powers because this will continue to pursue justice and ensure the corrupt are jailed and the illegally acquired properties continue to be attached. What does this really mean? It means that, like you started off, Abhishek, by saying, the Director Enforcement can now carry out investigations under PMLA even without an FIR in the predicate offence. That's a massive power. The strict bail conditions that are there with the Enforcement Directorate will continue to be there. They've also said the PMLA Money Laundering Act will be taken as a standalone offence. It's independent of proceedings of the scheduled offences under different laws. Finally, they've said, remember, the officers of the Enforcement Directorate are not police officers. This is a landmark judgment because not only is this going to be targeting economic fugitive offenders like Vijay Mallya, Nirav Modi and Mehul Choksi, it's also going to be targeting the investigations that continue here against top politicians and businessmen who continue to try and misuse money, and Money Laundering Act is then coming in because I end by saying what the Solicitor General told the courtroom: the Enforcement Directorate and powers of the PMLA are derived from international standards to ensure that the legal global community can come together to ensure that money laundering can be handled and does not stifle the financial system of India.
Thank you for that, Rhythm. Fantastic explanation on what all of this means. But I just want to tell you one thing. While we all talk about this cash, I mean, the pictures are shocking. But what we need to explain to our viewers is that this cash, according to the Enforcement Directorate, by the way, which is one in court, this cash was collected from perhaps poor. We don't have a number to it, but this is cash collected from people who were given jobs as teachers, as professors. 3 kilograms of gold, and I haven't seen as much money anywhere else. Perhaps, you know, we used to watch in documentaries on how the vaults work in the RBI, etc. But this is scary. Anirban, after this,
and Ranjan,
after
counting
this,
is still on. Counting is still on.
Counting is still on. Okay, it could touch 50 crore. We are told. Anirban, after this, can anybody in their right mind defend a minister called Partha Chatterjee, or his aide called Arpita Mukherjee, or question an agency called the Eide? Anirban, and then I'll let Sanju respond.
Yeah, first of all, mere pictures expressed in the social media or other electronic media is not good enough. There has to be evidence that is admissible by the trial court. In this case, the special courts that hold trial for the ED cases. We must not forget that the ED in the last 8 years, in the 1,000 searches, the raids that they have conducted, they have secured just a paltry 9 convictions out of those 1,000, a success rate of less than 1%. Therefore, all this sensational news fed to the media by the ED is fine, but unless and until the accused are proved guilty before the trial court, nothing matters. Nothing else matters.
You are moving the goalpost, if I could say. You are moving the goalpost. First, a petition is made, and rhythm can come in there. No, listen. Anirban, you are moving the goalpost. See, what was the contention of the petitioners? Rhythm can come in there. They said the powers of ED to search, carry out search and seizure and arrest are arbitrary. Now, it is because of the search and seizure powers that we have this stash of cash coming out. Earlier, about 21 crores, 15 crores and counting.
Out of 1,000 convictions?
No. We'll come to that. Rhythm. You have to come to my rescue as the expert. He's saying, he's continuing to move the goalpost. First he says don't search and seizure, then he says don't arrest, then he says where is the conviction?
Absolutely. Anirban, we also need to understand investigations are continuing in several cases. I also know Ravi wants to make a point, but we're going to go across to Sanju Verma, Deshratan Nigam. But the one point that Abhishek is really talking about is we cannot say and speak about the conviction rate, because let's look at the massive cases that have actually got a conviction. The Vijay Mallya case, where an ED CBI joint team went abroad to the United Kingdom, put up a joint effort and ensured that when it comes to money laundering, both Nirav Modi and Vijay Mallya's name comes through, is massive. So we can't be putting forward these numbers just for a number crunching that politicians, Anirban, would like to do. But the larger picture here, the ED is trying to ensure money laundering and proceeds of crime, whether it's from the right means or the wrong means, is looked at.
Yeah, absolutely. In fact, Deshratan Nigam, you know, who's scared of these arrests? Now, Deshratan Nigam, who's scared of these arrests? Sanju, I'll come to you. About 40-50,000 crore rupees worth of money swindled by Vijay Mallya, Nirav Modi and the likes, including Mehul Choksi, of which property worth about 20,000 crore rupees, 18 to 20,000 crore rupees attached, and about 10,000 crore rupees, 9 to 10,000 crore rupees given back to the exchequer, given back to the people, the taxpayer. That's substantial amount of effectiveness being shown by one agency. Now, why should it be grudged by people at large? I can understand the petitioners, many of them are under investigation by the ED, but what about the rest?
Abhishek, in fact, if you look at today's verdict of the Supreme Court, the two cases, the National Herald case and the Partha Chatterjee's case, vindicates the verdict of the Supreme Court. And the amount of cash which is being recovered today is humongous, phenomenal, and truckloads of them. And therefore, it cannot be hidden. So have you ever come across any accused or offenders, praising the Prevention of Money Laundering Act? No, it can never be. And the amount of cases have increased because in all these cases and the money which is being recovered belongs to the people of the country, and many of the cases are being unearthed which were prior to 2014 also. And if you recollect, number of people had written about the SSC scam to Mamata Banerjee. But no action was taken, and finally the ED had to do it. There is another scam which is coming up, is College Service Commission, where people are writing to the Mamata Banerjee and still no action is being taken. Hence, money laundering is a very, very serious crime, and this act has actually come up when international organizations applied their mind, including IMF, and they created an FATF task force which blacklisted Pakistan into a grey list. And therefore, this mechanism was also developed where the money laundering was used to compromise with the sovereignty and integrity of the country, terror funding, and this was an international phenomena, both national and international phenomena. And hence, after considering everything, such kind of a stringent act was made, and it has upheld, the Supreme Court has upheld all the stringent provisions of this act without striking down a single one. And it has realized the seriousness with which the money laundering is taking place and corruption is taking place in this country.
Go ahead.
No, can I respond to this, all this false bravado?
False bravado? Now, one second. Now, by your logic, okay, I'll go by your logic, okay? No, you can, but I just want to ask you because you made a point.
Listen to me.
I will let you respond. Anirban, I just told you I will let you respond and Sanju will respond to you. Now, my point was, you're suggesting, with your initial comment, that these are pictures doing the rounds on social media, not from inside one of Arpita's 4 flats, in which one flat was reserved only for her pet friends, namely dogs.
Is not what I said.
And this was not removed from her bed.
No, you're twisting my statement.
Is this? You're saying this is just a video? Okay, let's assume you're saying this was carried in boxes, put inside Arpita's house. Boxes were opened, cash was dropped, pictures taken, and no. There are reporters live outside Arpita's house. Anirban, you're looking at it. Watch Republic Bangla, it's happening live. Watch all the channels, it's happening live.
Niranjan, till date, as far as I know, we are governed by the rule of law. The trial courts try these cases.
Sanju
Verma. The ED, I'll tell you, the ED has been conducting the Narada scam case for 8 years now. 8 long years.
Because these are, Anirban, I am no expert, but I have some experience. Anirban, I am no expert, but I have some experience of covering these cases. Rhythm has more experience than me. Remember, these money laundering cases are complex, layered criminal cases where experts commit the crime. Now, I am not casting aspersions against any profession, but these criminals, white-collared criminals, are held by experts like company secretaries, like CAs. Again, I'm repeating, I'm not casting aspersions against any profession.
So tell me,
it takes time. It takes time. Remember, Rhythm, please come in. Rhythm, please come in. Rhythm, please come in. It's been almost 10 months to a year that all legal options for Vijay Mallya have closed in the United Kingdom. Yet we have not been able to get him back. Let's get another panelist. Let's get another panelist. He's in jail for over 2 years, but we have not been able to get him back. So obviously, conviction or the court process is going to take time.
What is the logical time frame to complete an investigation?
Very 1 minute. That the ED's conviction rate is in such a way, but we
Yes, you're next, Sanju. Rhythm will toss to you. Yeah, Rhythm, you toss to Sanju.
Yes, Sanju would also know it's the kind of work that the Enforcement Directorate really does to ensure that the convictions come forward. And I'll just give one example before I go across to Sanju. When it came to the Enforcement Directorate case against Vijay Mallya, it was for the very first time that trial court judgments of India were given validity in the United Kingdom courts, only done via law, only done via ensuring that whatever they had found comes true. So it's not something that one can debate on a TV channel and say these are powers, these are arbitrary, but the larger picture, it's only with arrest, it's only with summoning, it's only with seizure and also money laundering, asset attachment that the Enforcement Directorate can carry out its job, Sanju.
Rhythm, I think you summarized the entire Supreme Court verdict brilliantly. I'll just, for the benefit of your audience, highlight a couple of points. The Supreme Court has basically upheld the judgment of Vijay Madan Lal Chaudhary versus Union of India and has said that the Enforcement Directorate under Section 3 has the right to make suo motu arrest with respect to money laundering. Under Section 5, it can confiscate and seize assets. And under Section 19, it can make an arrest which cannot be termed arbitrary. And the most important thing is, in the National Health case, I remember the entire Congress brigade came out and said, Enforcement Directorate, the ED did not even furnish us with a copy of the ECIR. Today, I think what I found very interesting was when Justice Khanvilkar, he categorically stated that an ECIR is not equal to an FIR and the accused can only request but cannot demand that he or she be given a copy of the ECIR. Just disclosing the reason for his or her arrest is enough. So this whole narrative about ECIR being mandatorily supplied to the accused, that has fallen flat on the face. And I will just take 20 seconds to tell you, the most important thing is this, that the Supreme Court in its detailed verdict also said that in the last 8 years, there have been 888 prosecutions by the ED, whereas under the previous Congress dispensation, in 10 years, you had only 104 prosecutions. The fact that the Modi government is moving rapidly on prosecution also shows that finally, most of these cases will come to
Ravi
fruition.
saying something. What are you saying, Ravi?
And saying,
how many convictions?
You only want to finish the opposition by making cases against them. For catching 9 people, 991 people are harassed, humiliated, tortured for no definite time. That's the question.
No, can I say something?
Objectively, I'm saying.
1 minute, Ravi, I just want to caution you. Ravi, I just want to caution you. No, I just want to caution you. 1 minute. Can I, in your interest also, Ravi, 1 minute. No, 1 minute. Can I say something?
Why do you get this?
No, I want to say something. Ravi, hear me out. I'll come to you. I will let you speak. Ravi, hear me out. I'll let you speak. Yeah, 1 minute. Both of you. No, hear me out. No, I was trying to say, I wanted to caution all of you. Wait, Sanju, wait. I wanted to caution him. Sanju, this is important. Trust me, let's get all the panelists on air. I want to caution you. I want to caution, Sanju, this will be interesting to you. 1 minute, listen.
This guy...
No, 1 minute. Hear me out. 1 minute. All of you listen to me calmly for 10 seconds. 10 seconds, please. For God's sake, we have time till 10:50. Okay, we have time. You know what the Supreme Court said? You know what the Chief Justice of India said a few days back? He criticized people. He said these people who question judges, question judiciary, question verdicts, you have to be very careful today. What you say today, Ravi Srivastava, be very careful. He was referring to, I wouldn't say you, but many who question verdicts, many who don't trust the judiciary. So please be very careful. No. He was referring to the... Yes, you're right. No, you're bang on, Anirban. He was questioning the media that questioned the judiciary. You're right. No. He's right. He was questioning, they were questioning the media that questioned the judiciary. They're right. Yeah, they were questioning the media that questions the judiciary.
Also,
but yes.
Also,
yeah.
Are you, in the petition, was there a caveat, Ravi Srivastava, that only political opponents should have the protection from arrest and that other criminals ED can go and arrest? It was a petition giving blanket protection to people who are swindling money.
No caveat on that. What I am saying is, for 9 people who are convicted, 991 are harassed, humiliated, tortured indefinitely. This is what is my question.
The power of the ED...
What is the competence of this agency?
The power of the ED under money laundering has been upheld by the Supreme Court. So please stop giving a bhashan. This is not about the BJP or the Congress or the Aam Aadmi Party. This is about Supreme Court upholding the constitutional validity of arrests made by the Enforcement Directorate pertaining to money laundering.
Criticizing the Supreme Court decision is not a crime in the IPC. One can always criticize it, one can always have a different opinion. You are not a custodian of the
Ravi, if I
law.
can just make
Everybody
one point
understands
here.
the law.
Yeah, Rhythm, please go ahead. Rhythm,
Ravi,
please.
if I can just make one point here. You talking about targeting and political victims. But if the investigation, several jurists whom we've spoken to since morning have just said one thing. If the investigation of the Enforcement Directorate is found to be malicious and malified, the courts step in and say vindictive action is taken. But just because one believes that the victim card needs to be played and vindictive action could be taken, it is not a reason to strike down the powers. We see the pictures on our screen to show you the cash stash last week and this week once again where the mega cash bust is being broken. To give you a clear picture, and a picture speaks louder than words, this is the reason why the Enforcement Directorate needs to continue having these powers.
Rhythm also.
Okay, anyone, let any two panelists speak. Okay. Who wants to speak?
No, let it be Prakash.
What action has been taken?
One second. Prakash and Ravi, Prakash and Mr. Srivastava, 1 minute.
Or Srivastava, yeah.
Prakash and Ashutosh, okay, let Prakash and Ashutosh come. Ashutosh hasn't spoken. Prakash and Ashutosh. Prakash, you go first. Ashutosh will respond to you. Yeah.
Supreme Court has rightly upheld the powers of the Enforcement Directorate. You cannot water down the powers because the affected people wanted the benefit of advantage. They are no respect for judiciary, intelligence agencies, executive. The opposition is behaving in the most undemocratic way. Just because Sonia Gandhi and Rahul Gandhi were questioned by Enforcement Directorate, you cannot dismantle Enforcement Directorate. And what happened in West Bengal is a case in the point. It is a slap on the face of Mamata Banerjee, who has been criticizing Modi of all his actions for the past 8 years. Now where is she going to keep the face? Our own minister is a corrupt, and the whole world has seen how much money has swindled. So you need an agency to investigate. You need a specialized agency.
Yeah.
The criminals
You know, you made a point, Prakash.
Nowadays,
Prakash Swami,
police officers.
Prakash Swami, let me take this one by one. Yeah, Prakash Swami, let me take this one by one to Ashutosh.
You got to slap Mamata Banerjee.
Anirban, just hold on, wait for your turn, I'll come to you. Anirban, I'll come to you. Anirban, I'll come to you. Let's, Rhythm, we have to go to the crux of it. Rhythm, this is the same, no, I have to go to Ashutosh also. Anirban, just hold on, I'll come to you. You know, Rhythm, we have to go to the crux of it also. This is the same ED which went after Harshad Mehta. This is the same ED which went after a media mogul. You know, and a different party government was there. This is the same ED which has been working diligently and getting money from the likes of Vijay Mallya and Nirav Modi. You know, are you wanting to throttle an agency which is an important tool in the hands of the state in favor of people of the country, in favor of taxpayers of the country?
That has been recovered from, say, Nirav Modi. What is the amount?
Rhythm, please answer. Please tell him 9,000 crores worth of rupees from Vijay Mallya, Nirav Modi, Mehul Choksi.
We continue once the extradition comes, but I do want to continue with what Abhishek. I do want to continue with what Abhishek is saying before I answer your question. Because the court, when it goes down and says it's not arbitrary, has gone and seen the kind of work that's been put forward before them. When we talk about money laundering, we are looking at international standards where financial security systems need to be looked at, and money laundering and proceeds of crime is very important. This is not only about these cases which you are talking that are political, but also businessmen. If you actually see the kind of money that has been taken from them, how many businessmen are in prison because of this, what is the kind of seizures and witnesses summoned that have been done, it's massive.
Also Rhythm, if arrest happens, who gives the custody to the ED? It's a court. Remember, who has instructed that Partha Chatterjee be investigated? It is a court. Ashutosh, you are forgetting the fact that these are court monitored probes. The custody given to ED is given by a court of law. Are you guilty of accusing courts of a bias by charging ED with bias? Ashutosh?
So Abhishek, what has happened today is you should remember what Subramaniam Swamy tweeted today. that this particular law was brought by Chidambaram, that is Congress. And what the Supreme Court has said, that the law is not bad. And what is being questioned is, as the BJP spokesperson said.
Ashutosh, did you just suggest, Ashutosh, by quoting Subramanian Swamy, did you just suggest that Chidambaram brought something against the Gandhis because the Gandhis are being investigated by the ED?
It is being misused. It is now being misused. When you talk about money laundering of a paltry 1 crore, that is where the misuse comes. It was Vijay
Paltry 1 crore. Paltry 1 crore.
You are a rich man.
He said paltry 1 crore. He said paltry 1 crore. Ashutosh, did you say paltry 1 crore?
40 crores plus already. 40 crores plus and counting. But it's paltry 1 crore.
It is misusing the ED. That is being questioned.
Paltry 1 crore.
And that's what exactly being said by the Supreme Court.
Can I comment?
It has no proof that
Can I comment?
1 crore has.
You know, Ashutosh, you have
I have breaking news. Half century. 30 crore has been counted so far. Half century. 30 crore today. 21.9.
No, poultry 30 crores.
Poultry 30 crores. 1 minute. 30 crores reached today. Counting. That's the breaking news update from the spot. 30 crores recovered today. 21.9 crore rupees last week. And poultry, in the words of Abhishek Kapoor.
No, not my.
Ashutosh, no, he said poultry one. Okay,
you're misquoting me. It's Ashutosh.
Ashutosh, how would you define this amount?
I didn't say poultry for 30 crore. You are confusing.
But how can you say, even if it's 1 crore? Ashutosh, even if it's 1 crore. Okay. That was on a lighter note.
Okay, now you have admitted. Okay, Ashutosh, now you have admitted it's a huge scam. You have admitted it's a huge scam. It's not poultry.
One sec.
Which is being questioned.
No. 1 sec. So we've just defined the scam in the course of the program. 1 crore, small scam. 40 crore.
There is no scam. That's what I'm saying.
No scam.
There is no scam.
Oh, shit.
You are a true student of Kapil Sibal. You are a true student of Kapil Sibal, Ashutosh.
Okay, I have some more breaking news. No, breaking news. Ashutosh, breaking news, journalist. Ashutosh is a journalist. He'll find this interesting. Breaking news. I'm so sorry. I think I missed the messages and the update is coming now. It's gone up to 40 crore today. So that's 61.9 crore so far. 40 crore today. There's a breaking news update. 61.9 crore so far. How do people store it? I don't know, but I know that the ED of Abhishek this morning we had pictures of the ED, a 12-member team going into the flat. And then I don't know where people hide this kind of money, but you know, Deshwata Nigam, 61.9 crore rupees. 61.9 crore rupees in cash.
And apart from that, the huge properties. Don't forget about the properties which are being, detected. And that money could be humongous. I mean, you can't even imagine. And let me tell you, this law is so stringent that the ED does not have to prove that these people are guilty. It is these people who have to prove that they are innocent. The only evidence has to be brought on record and the charges have to be framed against these people. The rest has to be done. The innocence has to be proved by these people. Therefore, as of now, these people are guilty in the eyes of law under PMLA. So it is so stringent, and the amount of cash. Imagine the kind of people who got selected through SSC scam. They did not deserve to be there. They paid money and they got selected. The amount of damage they will do to the administrative system, and a lot of appeasement was also done. Minority appeasement. I had read about the scams and the problems which are arising in West Bengal, that the minority appeasement was done through these scams. So it has. I think these recruitments need to be cancelled by the government. They must take that step and cancel these recruitments and remove Partha Chatterjee from the ministry, because it is first principle. The first principle is if a person's department, there is a scam in the person's department, he has to be removed from the department. Otherwise, the investigation will get hampered. It is the first principle of law. A person who is being investigated for a particular scam in a particular department has to be removed from the post for independent investigation.
You have made your point. Deshwata Nigam, you have made your point. Ashutosh, first you quote the best friend of P. Chidambaram, Subramaniam Swamy, on Chidambaram. Then you attribute an action of Chidambaram based on which the Gandhis are being investigated. Then you say it's a paltry scam. And then you admit that there is a scam, then you say there is no scam. Where are you standing today, Ashutosh?
I am saying that ED is misusing the law to harass, malign political opponents.
When did it begin? When, according to you, this saga of ED harassing people began?
And Narendra Modi, you are comparing apples and oranges here, and that's what exactly people say. That the law is good, but its implementation is bad. It's implementation which is questioned by the people who feel harassed.
For Arpita,
rhythm. Since you are, since the message is on the person who is accused to prove his innocence.
If I can just ask you one question.
Sanju Verma, I'll come to you. Let rhythm respond.
Certain points forward
on the
when it comes
legalities.
to enforcement. If I can just put one point forward when it comes to this law, it was actually in the statute books in 2002 and it was enacted and came into action in 2005, and that is not a government, that it was of the Narendra Modi government that you are talking about right now, Ashutosh. The fact of the matter is, when we mention P. Chidambaram, it is with the blessings of all the Congress leaders that the Enforcement Directorate got its powers right in the very start. Will you say at that time there was vendetta that was being done and now it's not being done? Because the fact of the matter is, we are talking about money laundering in each and every aspect, whether it's political leaders, whether it's businessmen. So this is not only about a few controversial or a few high-stake profile political people that we are talking about that the ED is investigating, but even many other scams when it comes to businessmen. Like Deshrata Nigam just spoke about the powers of the ED. It is only with the powers of arrest, it is only with the powers of seizure that such cash pictures that are on our screens right now, Deshrata Nigam, are coming through.
In fact, Rhythm, I have to add before you go to Sanjay Verma. I have to add, Calcutta High Court ordered this probe, after which, hold on. Calcutta High Court ordered this probe sometime in May, after which Partha Chatterjee was questioned twice. Because he was not under custody, he was not cooperating, no discoveries were made, the ED was shooting in the dark. It's only post-arrest that we have this information coming in based on which this search and seizure operations are going on and leading to this kind of revelation of the money that we are seeing, 60 crores and counting. Sanju Verma.
May I please? Thank you. Abhishek,
can I respond to Mr. Nigam?
Make one very important point.
After Sanju Verma.
I want to make one very important point. There are three things which we should have as takeaway from the Supreme Court judgment today. Point number one, the Enforcement Directorate need not furnish the ECIR to the accused. Point number two, under section 24, the burden of proof is with the accused. And point number three, which nobody has mentioned till now, the petitioner said that the Enforcement Directorate should not investigate cases prior to 2002 because the PMLA Act came about only in 2002. And the Supreme Court said it does not matter. Even cases prior to 2002 will be investigated. And the most important point which your audience needs to know, from Vijay Mallya, Mehul Choksi and Neerav Modi, this is a figure given by Nirmala Sitharaman. Till date, we have confiscated and monetized assets to the tune of 20,438 crores. 23,438 crore worth of assets monetized, and just one more figure. 99,356 crore worth of assets attached by the ED.
No, Ravi Srivastava, I think Ravi Srivastava, Sanju, Ravi Srivastava and Anirban. No, Ravi Srivastava and Anirban. No, I'll tell you. No, it's not a piece of paper. No, it's not a piece of, okay, Ravi Srivastava, 1 minute. No, in all seriousness, Ravi, let's have a serious debate, Ravi.
Recovered the cash.
Ravi.
Recovered a property which nobody will buy.
Okay, 1 minute. Okay, this is fantastic, okay. No, when we start, okay, Sanju, wait. Now, if you respond, nobody can hear. 1 minute. No, 1 minute. Nobody can hear. 1 minute. At the beginning of the debate, I think it was Anirban who said, just because pictures are doing rounds on the social media. Now, I'll tell you what happens now. Now, Ravi Srivastava says, these are just figures being quoted. Let me tell you something. on record, the government has said on the floor of the House. No, 1 minute. Okay, just hold on and listen to me. You'll find this interesting. All of you will find it interesting. The government has said on the floor of the House, on record, and in quotes, wait, hear me out. 18,000 crore has been recovered from Vijay Mallya, Nirav Modi, Mehul Choksi is what the government has said on record. Wait, I'll tell you how. As of July 2021, wait.
Have they run away with?
No, 1 minute. Don't jump the gun. I'm trying to make a point. Stay calm. I'll tell you how. If you know. Okay, let me. No, Sanju, wait. We're losing time. Okay, we're losing time. As of July 2021, banks recovered 13,000 crore after sale of assets. No, 1 minute. Anirban, can't hear you. Please don't speak over me. Sanju, wait. This is important. No. Viewers need to know this. Viewers need to know this. As of July 2021. Banks recovered 13,000 crore by sale of assets. So it's not in the air. They recovered cash from sale of assets. And Anirban, you're telling me how much did they run away with? 1 minute. Sanju, wait. 1 minute. For argument's sake, how much do you think Arpita and Partha ran away with if 40 crore has been found so far from just 2 raids? How much do you think they've run away with? And do you think only they shared the booty?
Where have they run away? They are available.
I'll tell you.
But all these days,
8 years.
yeah, but they were free, na? They were free all these years, no? They were free all these years. No, 40 crore is still there. Ravi, if 40 crore is still there now, if 40, no, don't take it literally. 1 minute.
Hello,
Ravi, wait. They were free, right? For how long has this been going on? I think, if I'm not wrong, this has been happening from
about 5 years.
5 years.
Yeah.
It's been happening for 5 years. So obviously, if they still have 40 crore left.
Also, Sanju Verma, with your permission, I have to make a very important point. Anirban, hold on. Anirban, I'm coming to you. Sanju Verma, hold on. You know, a very famous lawyer of the Congress party.
You're not stopping her.
Sanju Verma, hold on.
Okay, we have a bad signal, Anirban, bad signal. Anirban, bad signal. Your video is frozen, Anirban. We'll fix that.
No, but Anirban, you are able to listen to me. Since you are making this argument, this is social media footage doing the rounds. You know, P. Chidambaram.
What was Shwendu Adhikari receiving money?
Listen,
what was that?
Listen, we'll come to that. Oh, we'll come to that. Okay, you can go to Philip Singh Judev also, but let's be in the present.
BJP removed the video.
Let's be in the present. Anirban, I'm making a very important point. P. Chidambaram in a court, and Rhythm would recall that. Anirban, hold on here. Anirban, hold on. P. Chidambaram in a court made this red herring argument, as it is called, that for the offence of money laundering to be committed, there has to be money and there has to be laundering. That is the reason why this footage is doing the round. There is money, there is laundering, and it is for all to see. Understand, Anirban?
And it has to be proven before the trial court.
That court would do.
Okay, running out of time. Running out of time.
That with Eide's powers, we are seeing these pictures. Of course, it's going to be proven in a court of law and the trial court, but that is such a rehearsed answer. What are we talking about today as the Supreme Court upholds the powers of the Enforcement Directorate? Money laundering of this kind can only be got by seizure, it can only be got by summons, it can only be got by getting some powers when bail cannot be given. And I also want to say, like we were talking about, the Calcutta High Court made a very interesting observation when Partha was in fact told to go to the from the state-run SSKM hospital to the AIMS in another state, that when it comes to lady justice needs to be done, and therefore we need to ensure that nothing can happen to see that justice is not done. But the courts are acting in tandem to see that malicious, vexatious investigations don't happen.
I'll tell you. Now, Rhythm, honestly, I mean, we've seen, you know, raids, etc., but never ever seen something like this. Abhishek, have you?
I have not.
A bigger cash stash?
It's paltry 40 crores, Niranjan. I have not seen.
Paltry 40. Okay. On that note, we'll take a short break. Thank you for staying with us. Arnav will be back on the debate. We're just filling in for him. Thank you for staying with us through the course of this debate.
Thank you so much for joining us, guys. Thank you so much from me as well.
Amity University has India's largest scholarship program, from which over 25,000 brilliant students have already benefited. Students with over 95% in Class 12 boards get 100% scholarship, and students with over 90% get 50% scholarship. Join brilliant, like-minded students who want to be successful. Apply at amity.edu/scholarships.
आग को फैलने से रोकना मुश्किल है, पर नामुमकिन नहीं। अब फायरवॉल टेक्नोलॉजी के साथ सेंचुरी प्लाई क्लब प्राइम आग से बचाए।
A Central Bureau of Investigation has arrested Bhola Yadav, the then OSD to former Railway Minister Lalu Prasad Yadav, in connection with land for job scam. The CBI is also conducting search operations at 4 locations, 2 at Patna and 2 at Darbhanga, belonging to him. AIMIM Chief Asaduddin Owaisi took a jibe at Yogi at the warmth at which the Kavadiyas are greeted, and said if they are showered with petals, then the authorities should at least spare Muslims from bulldozing their houses.
कावड़ यात्रा के लिए आप टैक्स पेयर के पैसों से हेलीकॉप्टर से फूल बरसा रहे हैं। यूपी की भाजपा सरकार बहुत अच्छा है। आप पुलिस के हुदेदार ऑफिसर उनकी पैरों की मालिश कर रहे हैं, बहुत अच्छा।